At this point, I'm fully convinced Brad Stevens is the Oprah of the NBA. You get a contract. You get a contract. You get an extension. You're getting re-signed because the latest news that came out from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski is that Tillman has now been re-signed to the Boston Celtics for another 2 years. He has done nothing but extended players that are already on the roster and re-signed players that just entered free agency that recently played for the Boston Celtics. I'll tell you what, man, he hinted at doing this, but I wasn't 100% sure if he really meant it. But yeah, Brad Stevens was not lying. The Woj bomb we've all been waiting for. Free agent Xavier Tillman has agreed in a 2-year deal to return to the Boston Celtics. Tillman averaged almost 5.5 points and 3.9 boards last season. Of course, no details have been disclosed just yet on how much he'll be making or what that's going to look like. But all I know is Tillman's coming back for at least the next 2 years. I want you guys to go ahead and do me a favor. Drop your one-word reaction to Tillman's contract. Unbelievable. I want Dick Vitale's, it's unbelievable. I mean, Brad Stevens. First of all, is anybody else concerned about how Brad Stevens is actually doing this? Where is this money coming from that he's just throwing out extensions and contracts left and right? I mean, the man's got to be a genius. But nonetheless, in all seriousness, I do think Xavier Tillman 110% deserves another contract with the C's. Why? Because he had a very minute role with the Boston Celtics, as a lot of the bench players did, because you've got a starting 5, a starting 6 that can handle most of the workload here. So Tillman, he came to the Celtics via NBA trade deadline. Thank you, Memphis Grizzlies. He played 20 games this season. He averaged 4 points, about 3 boards, 1 assist, 51% from the field, which is phenomenal. He knew his role. He had a nice little floater mid-range game, and 3-point percentage, nearly 30%. He wasn't the most accurate, and he really only took about 1 3 a game if he did. But the 1 3 I always look at is that 3-point dagger in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. But like I said, so far, Xavier Tillman is actually the most recent signing the Celtics have had so far in NBA free agency. And I feel bad for other teams, man, because they are welcoming several new players, whereas Celtics fans are just congratulating other Celtics players on getting a new deal. They extended Jayson Tatum, the highest paid player now in the NBA, signed a 5-year, $314 million contract. Derrick White, a.k.a. Happy Birthday Derrick White, which is today, he signed a 4-year, $125.9 million contract. They re-signed Luke Kornet to 1 year. They re-signed Svi Mykhailiuk to 3 years. And now they re-signed Xavier Tillman to 2 years. They are looking to build a dynasty. And if you're telling me anything different, you're wrong. You're simply wrong. This is huge news. Yes, more so for Xavier Tillman, coming back and being able to be a backup center here for Kristaps Porzingis, who won't be playing until December, which we know he's been recovering from the surgery he had in the offseason. But then now Horford. He also was entering his last year, possibly before retirement. They re-signed Luke Kornet, Svi Mykhailiuk, and Tillman, we know, can play that power forward or 5 position. He did a good job coming in and playing about 10 minutes in the finals per game to really help out when Kristaps Porzingis got re-injured. So we know that he knows his role. When he comes in, it's just to make sure you don't put yourself in the minus. And let me tell you, when he did come into the NBA Finals, that man left that ball game +8, +10. He was helping the Celtics win, and that's all you got to do. But I got to tell you what you guys got to do. That's hit that sub button for me. We're actually going to be going live once a week this offseason, tell you guys the latest news and rumors, projections, anything and everything on the Boston Celtics, the most recent NBA champions here, and I want you guys to be a part of it. Join about 38,000 strong here by hitting that subscribe button for me. That way you guys miss nothing. Nada, and turn on notifications if you haven't already. All right, let's look at the Celtics roster moving forward, shall we? Because this is insane. Looks familiar, doesn't it? It's the same damn roster we just won an NBA championship with. The fact that Jaylen Brown is through 2029, 2030 for Tatum, 27 for Holiday, 26 for KP, and 29 for Derrick White. Holy cow. I truly do not know how the NBA is going to keep up with the Boston Celtics, especially since they just dominated this last year with the exact same guys. But if you look to the right side of your screen, here's where the bench players start to come in. And this is actually without Xavier Tillman, who has now been extended for 2 years. Al Horford, which he may end up retiring after the 2025 season. He will be 39 years old. Pritchard through 2028. He's been a phenomenal six-man off the bench. Jordan Walsh, he was a rookie last year, really going to develop under Al Horford and Porzingis. Sam Hauser, the three-point king. Heads up, there may be a contract extension happening next week with Sam Hauser, and I would not put it past Brad Stevens. And then Luke Kornet, Neemias Queta are the recent signings during NBA free agency. Now you're putting Xavier Tillman back on. And let me tell you, I've been up and down with Tillman. There have been moments where I thought his defense was way too slow to defend anybody in the NBA. But he did some damage against Luka Doncic, and you know what he really did well that I think will translate for the next couple of years? Is how Luka Doncic is one of the best players that knows how to stop and go. He knows how to quickly dribble down the lane, then stop, then speed it right back up again. Tillman's footwork kept up with him every single step of the way. And I think if you can guard somebody like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, you can guard most people here in the NBA. But Tillman was not a high scorer. We didn't need him to be. We needed him to be a big body. I cannot tell you how many times I called him Al Horford when I'm watching him on the screen because he literally looks like a mini Al Horford when it comes to the way their bodies are built. So I'm excited that mini Horford gets to come back and play another 2 years with the Boston Celtics. And I know the first question that came out to my mind was, another one? You signed another Boston Celtic to the Celtics roster? But Brad Stevens told us this was what he was going to do. Last week, Noah Dalzo, who I adore her reporting, she tweeted out what Brad Stevens said in a press conference that happened just before the NBA draft. He said, I don't anticipate any major changes, at least early on. So he hasn't completely been closed off to the idea of signing somebody else that plays for a different NBA team later this year or possibly a trade. But he said, I think this team deserves that. He thinks this team deserves to come back and do it again. And why not? You absolutely dominated in the Eastern Conference. You were plus, 12, 13 games by the time the regular season was over. You didn't play more than 5 NBA playoff games the entire 4 series. Are you kidding me? He absolutely deserves that. Brad Stevens, the front office, the players deserve that. They were a part of something great. And just one more time, because now I'm intrigued here about what the next move is going to be. Because we know Oshae Brissett, he declined his player option, but he also put in Brizzy's vlogs that he can't wait to do it again next year. And he said he's talking about the parade next year. So it's making me think, okay, maybe Brad Stevens can give a phone call to Oshae Brissett and say, hey man, I want to run it back. So I could see Oshae Brissett coming back. I could see Sam Hauser's extension coming as soon as next week, as he's already said Sam Hauser is a huge priority. I was a little bit turned off to the fact of, you're bringing everybody back? Well, that's no fun. That's some drama. I want to see somebody new. But then when you really think about it, no, you don't. Because this team is dominant. This team is one of the best rosters in the NBA, and they've already proven they can do what everybody is trying to do right now and win a ring. So with that being said, grade the signing of bringing back Mini Horford, Xavier Tillman. Give X some love in the comment section below. I'm grading this signing A. Any signing that Brad Stevens is going to do or extension for the Boston Celtics, it's going to be an A. The man's a genius. Give him the credit that he deserves. Show your love for Xavier Tillman in the comment section below and drop your grade A, B, C, D, or F. And as always, subscribe.